What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So President Donald Trump has just enforced massive tariffs up to 25% across the board. I'm going to give you the details. I'm going to let you hear it directly from him on massive countries that is going to lead to major inflation in the United States of up to 25%. And it goes into effect pretty much immediately. I'm going to give the details here right now in this video. This is very major. He told us this was coming, and here it is. It's going on right now. I'm going to give you all the details here right now of these tariffs of up to 25%. Here we go. We are live right now here. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below. I also had a video here yesterday that I will link you here to later on in the video of the Fed's interest rates decision, which is also going to affect your money, your credit card interest rates, your mortgage interest rates, your auto loan interest rates, your home loan interest rates, and that is going forward here for all of 2025. That was a very major decision as well. So stay tuned for that because it's pocketbook time, right? 2025, major things are happening. All right, take a look here. All right, Trump tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China begin tonight at midnight. Or if you're watching this video here, not live, they're maybe already in effect. In apparent ending to weeks of intense speculation, the White House confirmed today that President Donald Trump will be levying aggressive tariffs this weekend on major U.S. trading partner. The White House press secretary said Trump will begin levying 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, as well as a 10% duty tariff on China in retaliation for the, quote, illegal fentanyl they have sourced and allowed to distribute in our country. This is basically across the board. It looks like. Here's what President Trump says, and then this is not the first time in our history, the U.S. history, that these tariffs have been enacted in multiple different time frames. I'll give the details on that, and I'll let you see what happened here in the past. Here as what President Trump has to say. Take a listen here.
Talking about tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 25%. That's coming on Saturday?
It's coming on the 1st,
Okay.
Saturday.
But no oil tariff, no oil tariffs.
No, I don't, well, I didn't say that. You said that.
Well,
No.
I don't want to misinterpret.
No, we may or may not. We're going to make that determination probably tonight
Oh, my
on
God.
oil.
Okay.
Yeah, because they send us oil. We'll see. It depends on what the price is. If the oil is properly priced, if they treat us properly, which they don't. Look, Mexico and Canada have never been good to us on trade. They've treated us very unfairly on trade. And we will be able to make that up very quickly because we don't need the products that they have. We have all the oil you need. We have all the trees you need, meaning the lumber. We have more than almost anybody in those two categories. In oil, we have more than anybody, and we don't need anybody's trees. We have to free up some of the tree areas that we have. We have great lumber in this country. We have to free them up environmentally, which I can do very quickly. But we don't need what they have. And for us to be subsidizing Canada to the tune of $175 billion a year and subsidizing Mexico to the tune of $250 billion, $300 billion a year, and Mexico is a method of China sending in its product. And with China, I'm also thinking about something because they're sending fentanyl into our country, and because of that, they're causing us hundreds of thousands of deaths. So China is going to end up paying a tariff also for that, and we're in the process of doing that.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. This will raise prices here in the U.S. Take a look at the history of tariffs that have happened here in the United States before and the times that these have happened here. Take a look here.
Tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich.
Tariffs are a major part of President-elect Donald Trump's foreign policy and economic agenda.
We want fairness from other countries. We have not been treated fairly, and we're going to get fairness.
Put simply, tariffs are a tax on goods from another country paid by the company importing them, usually to protect national industries or as a trade negotiation tool. Quick history lesson. In the U.S., tariffs started out steep.
You can say there were three distinct periods of tariff history in the United States. It's from, say, 1790 to 1860, when tariffs were the main source of federal revenue. Something like 90% of all federal revenues was based on taxing imports. From the Civil War to the Great Depression of the 1930s, we had tariffs for protection. Tariffs were raised to very high levels on a variety of imports, and basically those industries were protected.
But that changed in the mid-1930s.
Policymakers decided that high tariffs were not really good for the American economy. So from the 1930s all the way up to now, we've had a progressively lower and lower tariffs.
In 2018, President Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on China, an effort to reduce the trade deficit and boost U.S. manufacturing. The Biden administration kept most of these tariffs and, in some cases, even raised them on $18 billion of Chinese goods, though the move is said to be largely symbolic.
The 2018 tariffs do appear, as best economists can judge things, to have raised the price level by 1% to 2%.
Larry Summers is former U.S. Treasury Secretary under Democratic President Bill Clinton. He says the tariffs were not effective.
The evidence is that they made a small contribution to inflation. Tariffs tend to make the people in the countries who impose them poorer because they raise the price of what they buy, and that makes paychecks go less far.
But others, like Orrin Cass, chief economist at conservative think tank American Compass, say tariffs ultimately benefit the economy.
What we saw in 2018 when President Trump first imposed a lot of tariffs was there were some places where there was an effect on prices. A lot of times that was short-lived. When we do collect tariffs, if people do have to pay more, that's tax revenue that goes to the government. So we can use that to reduce other taxes. We can use that to reduce our deficit. We can use that to actually support the creation of more manufacturing here in the United States.
While the efficacy of tariffs is still widely debated, their international reach is indisputable. After President Trump's tariffs on China in 2018, the country retaliated with tariffs of its own on U.S. goods. Now, in 2025, Mexico is threatening to do the same after President Trump said he would impose strict tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada.
Now, to put it simply, I sold products on Amazon for years, and a lot of these products came from China. Number one, I didn't want to sell products from China, but first of all, you couldn't find manufacturers in America, so there was that problem. Number two, the products from China were way cheaper, okay? So there's that, okay? So just to give you an idea here, if the product you were getting from China, you were selling it for $10, and now there's a 25% tariff on it. Okay, well, it's a 10% tariff from China, 25% from Mexico, 25% from Canada. If there's now a 10% tariff on it, that means that 10% product, you're going to now have to charge 10% more for it because the manufacturer's not going to eat it. Okay, so they're now going to have to charge 10% more for it, which means an instant 10% inflation. If the product is coming from Canada or Mexico, you're going to have to charge 25% more. This is just the reality of it, because the manufacturer has to pay the tariff, and they're going to have to raise their prices by 10 to 25% more. A lot of car parts come from Mexico, Canada. There's all sorts of different parts. Even if the car is made in the United States, if the car part comes from Mexico or Canada or whatever it is, the part itself is going to be more now. I think it's about 97% of clothing comes from China. and there's just not enough factories in the United States or workers. And you think about, you think about things like made in Taiwan, made in Bangladesh, made in all these different countries. When tariffs are now affected 10%, 25%, and as more even come forward here from Trump, if that happens, if there's now 10 to 25% more inflation, you got to remember that the average worker nowadays is in the United States is making $15 an hour, maybe even more in some industries. They're making $2 an hour over there, when you equate it to American money, or maybe even less, right? Whatever they're making over there, the United States, you can't even compare it. You can't even compare it, right? So if, people at Amazon are making $15 an hour, or whatever factory, they're making the clothing in, or whatever type of good you're talking about, whatever you're buying off of Amazon or Walmart or wherever you're buying whatever good, we're talking about as an example, right? They're making $1 an hour, $2 an hour, $3 an hour in American dollars, right? You can't even compare it, because if you want to go get, if you're talking about Nike or whatever product you're buying off Amazon, or you're buying in Walmart, or wherever you're buying it, right? Go down the aisle of Walmart and just look at all the clothing, look at the shoes, look at any type of item, and see where it's made. See where it's made. All of those manufacturers, they don't want to get it made in other countries, right? They would prefer not to have it shipped, all the way halfway across the world. But the reality of it is, it's just way, 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 way cheaper. And if they got it made in the US, it would cost double or triple the price, because of how much more it costs, how much more factories cost in the United States to build, billions of dollars, right? And the labor costs. Labor costs $15 an hour, $20 an hour for factory workers, right? Or whatever it costs, right? As opposed to $2 an hour. $3 an hour, $1 an hour. Just think this through. It's exponentially more money. And I get that maybe we want to start shifting more stuff here. We're starting to see more chip workers here come to the United States and stuff, and we do want to start to see that. But as that happens, we're going to see massive inflation, because if we start to shift, clothing be made here in the United States, it's going to be much more expensive. So get ready for 25% inflation on these goods coming into the United States. And if stuff starts getting made in the United States, it's going to be double or triple the price, because stuff getting made in the United States is just going to be way more expensive to build these factories in the United States and pay workers in the United States. They make, if you work in a factory, it's $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $25 an hour, whatever they're making, as opposed to foreign workers who make $1 an hour, $2 an hour, $3 an hour. It's just not even comparable. Now, people might say, yeah, the quality's better, but the prices are going to be exponentially more money. So, and remember that when Trump, implemented that previous tariffs back at the end of his presidency, then we did see that big spike of inflation that happened going forward and into the Biden administration and into the COVID area when the pandemic happened. And a lot of people are maybe now realizing that some of that was from tariffs, some of that was from the pandemic. Of course, we've seen inflation all over the world, but how much of it was from tariffs? And now we're going to see 10 to 25% tariffs that are happening. And while that is inevitably going to lead to, 10 to 25% higher inflation and prices. So let me know your thoughts on this. I will keep you up to date as even more may be coming, and we'll see the effects of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share this video with anybody that needs to see and hear this information. Don't forget to subscribe down below and click the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live with new videos, and I'll keep you up to date on everything happening here in and around the world. Click here to see the Fed's major decision that just happened and is affecting, millions and millions of people. You definitely want to watch that video. or click here to see the new Social Security benefits bill boost going on in Congress. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.